Hi, everyone. So our first topic is going to be listening comprehension. So Pumi found a TED Talk, and the title is How to Disagree with Respect. So we're going to listen to it. It's about 12 minutes, and then we're going to ask some questions at the end.
In 1967, Ronald Reagan became the governor of the state of California. In his inaugural address, he talked about the peaceful transfer of power, something he described as the simple magic of the commonplace routine, which makes it a near miracle to many of the world's inhabitants. He then went on to utter an iconic phrase that would be repeated by politicians for decades to come. Freedom is a fragile thing, he said, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. Now, like countless others, I have used that quote many times, but I have a confession to make. I never really believed it. Surely, after 250 years of this stuff, we no longer have to worry about losing it. I'm not pleased to report that I actually believe it now. The first cracks in my confidence came during one of those commonplace routines of transferring power. As lieutenant governor of the state of Utah, it was my duty to certify the votes of the electors for the presidential election. While the meeting to do so was open to the public, it was so commonplace and routine that no one ever showed up. As I walked into the room, I was stunned to see dozens of angry protesters screaming that the election had been stolen and demanding that we violate state law and change the votes of the electors. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably wrong. This was not 2020. This was 2016, and the protesters were Hillary Clinton supporters. Now, it got far worse somehow 4 years later. With the election less than 2 months away, a friend and I were talking and lamenting about the state of our country following a summer of destructive protests by the extreme left and an extreme right that was already undermining the validity of an election that hadn't even happened yet. Isn't there something you can do, she asked. Well, that question haunted me all weekend. So I picked up the phone and called my opponent. By the way, I was running for governor at the same time that Trump and Biden were battling for the presidency. I called my opponent, a Democrat named Chris Peterson, whom I respected, and I said, hey, Chris, this is Spencer Cox. I have a crazy idea. What if we filmed a campaign ad together? I could almost hear the confused look forming on his face. To his credit, he agreed. And 1 week later, we were in a studio together.
My respect for women is to all of you so much. I mean, I get emotional when I think about it. The amount that you ladies do to be incredible as mothers, do business, and support the family members.
Let's watch.
I'm Chris Peterson.
And I'm Spencer Cox.
We are currently in the final days of campaigning against each other to be your next governor.
And while I think you should vote for me,
Yeah, but really you should vote for me.
there are some things we both agree on.
We can debate issues without degrading each other's character.
We can disagree without hating each other.
And win or lose in Utah, we work together.
So let's show the country that there's a better way.
My name's Chris Peterson.
And I'm Spencer Cox.
And
we approve this message. Well, the response was instantaneous and overwhelming. The ad went viral. Neither of us saw it coming. There were media requests from all over the world, millions of views and shares. Perhaps there really is an exhausted majority, I remember thinking to myself, and maybe this is the message they want to hear. I could actually feel my faith in the American idea start to rekindle. The popularity of the ad validated my hope that most people really do want their political leaders to uphold the values that we teach our kids, that we can disagree without hate and contempt, even that we can find ways to treat each other with respect, even when we disagree. It seemed like there was a hunger for architects instead of arsonists. My hunch was confirmed 1 year later when a professor submitted a version of our ad to the Stanford Polarization and Social Change Lab as part of a huge depolarization experiment. It was chosen as one of 25 interventions to be tested on over 30,000 people. The result? Our ad actually had a measurable depolarization effect, including a reduction in urges towards violence. It turns out there really are things that we can do to alter the trajectory of the United States. Now, look, I get it. It's easy to feel a little hopeless as Americans once again barrel towards an election with unsatisfying candidates and campaigns. But there is good news. Over the past 6 months, 20 governors from all across the country have filmed similar ads, most of them with a public servant from the opposing party. And the data continues to show that people really are hungry for something different. According to polling from More in Common, 70% of Americans hate the divisiveness in politics. And it also turns out that Americans aren't as far apart as we think we are. The problem isn't how far apart the average Republican and the average Democrat is on the actual issues. In fact, we're not much different than other Western democracies. The problem is how far apart we think we are, due in large part to conflict entrepreneurs in both the media and politics. Both sides overestimate the extremism on the other side by about 30%. Now, interestingly, this perception gap is actually strongest amongst progressive activists on the left and amongst extreme conservatives on the right. So the people most engaged in the political process also have the most inaccurate views of the other side. But perhaps the best news of all is that there are very practical things that every one of us can do every day to help heal the divides in our nations and our neighborhoods. First, we can start by turning off and tuning out some of those conflict entrepreneurs. My wife and I, we stopped watching cable news 11 years ago and immediately saw an improvement in our marriage, our family, and our mental health. Now, that always elicits a laugh, but we're not alone. Studies have found that more time spent on the latest headlines, whether through social media or traditional media outlets, is really bad for our mental health. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon in different ways, like media saturation overload, or doom scrolling, or headline anxiety. You see, more news on all the time isn't making us smarter, it's just stressing us out. Second, we can spend more time, preferably offline, with real people who are different than us. In the words of Brian Stevenson, proximity will empower you. You see, it's just harder to hate up close. To tell me more about why you feel that way is a magical request. 20 years ago, we rarely identified each other by our political identities first. As for me, I'm a father, I'm an NBA fan, I'm a terrible aspiring bassist in a band, I'm a Utahn, I'm an American. How about you? You see, if we look beyond our political tribes, we can actually find shared identities and friendships that unite instead of divide. Now, third, we can serve others. Service and volunteering help build up communities and improve our outlook on life and the people around us. Some forms of regular volunteering have even been associated with lower blood pressure. There is nothing better for the soul or society than giving back. Aristotle really was onto something when he described and summed up the essence of life as serve others and do good. Fourth, and finally, we can work to develop the classical political virtues of humility, patience, and moderation, without which, as John Adams explained, we all become ravenous beasts of prey. Now, look, I know it's almost laughable to talk about words like humility in political discourse, but I truly believe that it is the only way for us to remember how to disagree without hate and contempt. In the words of Judge Learned Hand, who so eloquently stated, the true spirit of liberty is the spirit which is not too sure it is right. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which seeks to understand the minds of other men and women. Now, I started with a quote from Ronald Reagan. He went on to say that freedom is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our solemn duty in our generation to once again secure the freedoms endowed to all of us from on high. We cannot wait for politicians or the media to do it. It will take real work, hard work by each of us, but we must remember how to disagree without hate. We must rise up and meet that radical call to love our enemies, especially our political opponents. It's not an easy answer, but it is a simple one. If we really want to change the world, we have to start by changing our own hearts. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
Hold on, let me stop sharing this. Okay. All right, Laura. Can I answer the first question? Can I answer the first question? Okay. So we watch things all the time. Let's say 1 year from now, what is the message you will remember from this video? One thing to remember. Let's say we don't remember any of details. I have watched a lot of because I don't remember.
We must, if we change the world, we must change our heart.
Okay, that's good. Another message.
And I think we do not need division or every population. So we need only peace and harmony.
Good. What did he say about disagreeing with others? The key message is what? To disagree without what? We always disagree with people, right? When somebody says something, we think that guy is stupid and you get angry at that person and all that. And he's trying to say disagree without what?
Without respect. So.
Yeah, without getting angry, right? How to disagree without getting angry? Fuming. Did you get the message?
Yeah.
Okay. Laura, I'll read you.
So when the gentleman who was speaking, Spencer Cox, he was in a governor's race in 2020 with Chris Peterson. What did they decide to do together to help the situation? When they were both running together, what did they decide to do together? So they were, so Spencer asked him if he would be in an ad, like a television commercial. And what was the purpose of that? What did they want the American people to see? Like, so one of them was a Democrat running for governor, and one of them was a Republican. And so usually you see that two people getting together for a commercial. So what were they trying to show?
Their campaign.
What did the ad say when they were together? What did they ask American people to? That's the key message, which I also repeated. What was the key message in that ad?
That you can disagree. They don't have the same political views, but they were coming together in a ad campaign to say we can disagree without being, because usually when you have opposing sides, what happens? Sometimes you can get into disagreements, you can argue, fight. So they were saying, no, this is an example how two people with two different views can come together and talk without.
Okay, let me ask another question. When you disagree with someone, do you like that person or you hate that person? When you disagree with the person, you think, oh, I love you? Or you say, what do you feel inside when you disagree with a person?
No, angry.
You get angry, right? You hate that person. So this entire case is saying we can disagree, but we don't have to hate each other and we don't have to get angry. It's very easy to say, I finally found something for myself. This happened to me almost a year ago. I used to argue with people. I used to get really, really angry. Angry to the point that I felt like punching someone in the nose. I don't do it anymore. I don't get angry at all. I had this thought and it helped me a lot. So how can you, as I said, it's very easy to say that, right? But how do you do that disagree without getting angry? What would you do? What would help you when somebody is saying something you don't like? How would you tell yourself, no, I'm not going to get angry and remain calm? What is your strategy? You hear me?
I'm not going to talk too much about this topic, and I stop that topic talking with them.
That's one strategy. That's one strategy. Yeah. You can say, I heard you, we don't have to talk about it. That's okay. Yeah.
That would be avoidance, avoiding the topic.
So you try to avoid the topic. Okay.
So actually, I know some things that you do already just in your day-to-day, like Watsala, you've said it. Remember there was a part of the TED Talk, he was explaining like 4 different ways that you can, like, practical things to do to help heal the divide between opposing sides, and how to disagree with somebody but without hate. And so one of them reminded me of, like, you do this a lot, volunteering, right? So you volunteer, you serve others, you help, right?
We can work with them patiently and do good.
What was another thing he said about watching TV or news? This can help. What did he say when you start watching TV or news? What happened?
Watching TV, our mind distressing our mind.
That's true. He said his mental health improved, his family situation got better, right? Then he said another thing that I can't remember.
So did he think that it was a good idea? One of the things, did he think it was a good idea to spend time with people that had different viewpoints than you and get to know them? Or was it a bad idea? Did he say it was a good idea or bad to talk with people who had different views?
It's a good idea.
Good idea.
Remember, he said proximity helps, right? Proximity means closeness. When you are closer to each other, he thinks you won't get angry. I'm not sure about that. I'm closer to people, I still can get angry. But he meant by that not just physically close, but getting to know people, genuinely listening to them and understanding. I think that's what he meant. So let me ask you guys to do this, okay? Summarize this talk for me in 1 minute. What's up? Summarize the talk. You listen to almost 12 minutes, right? What would you say? Did I say Pimi or Watsala?
Watsla, just a couple of sentences, Watsla.
Yeah, a couple of sentences. What is this?
Nothing.
This talk.
So he is talking with someone with some topics. Then he the other people disagree with him. Then he is avoid this topic, and he told the election and so he told we have to do some thing, so we not depend on the political things. So then we do something, and we did it with our hard work.
Okay. Watsala, what do you have to say? Summarize this talk.
Actually, he said we need love, not hate others, and then he said if we want to change world, we must change our heart, and actually we need our freedom, and if we change our mind, we can change the world totally different.
Laura, would you mind if they watch it again? Maybe ask them to talk more next time. Maybe it will help them.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. What is the percentage of this talk that you understood? What is, be very honest, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know where you are. What is the percentage that you are? This is a real guy. This is an American. He's talking. He's not talking to Pumi or Vasana. He's just talking to people, right? So, what is the percentage that you understood from this TED Talk? Would you say 10%? Or is it 20? Stop me when I will give you a number. 30%? Did you understand 30%? Yes or no?
I think I understood it's 10%.
10%, very good. Thanks for telling me that. And Vasana, okay, that's what I wanted to know. So Laura, that's where we are. So
Can I ask a question? The TED Talk last week, was it the same, only 10%, or was it more for the, I'm sorry, not last week, the week before? Was it more than 10%? Okay.
So
Yeah, I think more than 10%.
So that, you know, I think one of the reasons, this is about American politics also, there are a lot of things they don't know about. He starts Reagan, then he's talking about him running for governor. I can understand.
But I mean, the main focus, like take away the references to Reagan and the quotes and just the basic idea of the talk being about how two sides can disagree with each other. And I guess today, in today's world, you see people can get really nasty and mean and say disparaging things to their opponent, or just it's not like acceptable behavior, but it is now, right? And so I guess it's just showing how you can disagree with each other, but that doesn't mean you have to be mean to each other. It doesn't mean you have to name calling, right? So I don't know if that, so when I'm saying that to you, is it clear or no? It's.
What does name calling means? Laura said name calling. What does that mean to you? It's a general thing people say. Name calling, what does that mean?
It's like picking on somebody. It's like saying something about the way that you look or the way that you talk.
Yeah.
Insulting.
Right? No, all right. Let me ask you whether maybe we can talk about this. I really think instead of going one TED Talk to the other, we did it today, right? We'll give them a chance to listen at home, understand, then come back and then see what is the percentage they can understand.
But I thought it was so funny because Pumi, you picked this TED Talk, and one of the things was serving others. And he made a comment about how some people say that it could lower your blood pressure. And that reminded me of Watsala's TED Talk from a couple of weeks ago when they talked about helping other people and the benefits of helping other people on your own health. So.
All right, we'll pick it up. Here's the thing I want you guys to do. At home, right? Listen to this talk again. Listen every day if you have to. See whether you can understand and give us a summary next week and we'll see. Okay? I think, yeah.
Jagat, is there a place that actually would have like a transcript? Is there a way to get a transcript?
Yeah, transcript you can. I'll show it to you. So let me show that. I'm glad you asked.
Because then maybe you could go through.
Yeah.
You
Hold
can
on.
go through and you can highlight the words that you don't understand or that doesn't, like you're not sure about.
Let me share. Okay. I'll show you where to get the transcript. All right. Okay. Watch. So if you go, if you go down here, then can you guys see it, right? And here, see these three
Dots.
okay, yes, okay, that's not, here, let me check another place. Another thing is you can do subtitle, then CC, right? And if you turn it on, let me try that, okay? If I turn it on.
In 1967, Ronald Reagan became the governor of the state of California. In his inaugural address, he talked about the peaceful transfer of power, something he described as the simple magic of the commonplace routine, which makes it a near miracle to many of the world's inhabitants.
Yes.
He then went on to utter an iconic phrase that would be repeated by politicians for decades to come. Freedom is a fragile thing.
That's one way, right? Then there's another way. Usually they put transcripts. Let me find out. Here, download, save, report. No, they usually have transcripts. Maybe down here. Let me look and I'll find out. When I find out, I'll send it to you guys. How about that? I don't want to waste time right now. Okay. One option is the CC option, right? You can see what they are talking about. So you see the words. Okay. Most of the time, these words are, pretty much, pretty accurate. Okay. Anything else, Laura?
No, that's it.
All right. Let me stop. So, okay. All right. So I'm glad you said us that the percentage you understood. Thank you for being very candid and honest, right? So this gives an idea. I thought it was difficult. I thought that I kind of knew it was something because it's not just a talk. You have to know a lot of things about something about America. But as Laura said, the central message, you can forget about all the politics. The central message was, right? Disagree without hating a person. If you can remember that, that would be a pretty good thing, right? Okay. Second thing, I'm going to, this is a different, okay. Let me, okay. So I'm not going to record it, right? But I'll tell you what we need to do. We'll give you 10 minutes to do this. Yeah. So can you guys see this picture?
Yes.
So you're going to tell us a story. See these pictures? Tell a story using these pictures. That's what,
Can you be a little bigger or?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Hold on. Share window. Share this one. Okay.
So maybe you just want to say the direction that the story is going in.
Okay, so see these pictures, right? Can you guys understand? So this is write a story using the pictures given below. So we are going to write the first one, right? You see the pictures, right? See that this kid is going as an toy airplane in his hand, and then he's waving at people and all that. He's not paying any attention. Then the car hits him. See that?
Yes.
Then he's in the hospital. Tell the story. Write the story, please. And send it to us in live. We'll give you 10 minutes. Okay?
Tell the story or write the story?
Write a story using these pictures.
Okay, sir.
So you can say, there's the boy, blah, blah, blah. I want you to write using the present tense. See whether we practice this a lot of time. See whether you can write using the present tense. Then I'll share with you how to tell it with the present tense and how to tell the story with the past tense. I'll show it to you. But I want you to write first and send it to me right now. We'll give you 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to do something else. So I'm recording still. Stop recording. Okay.